I'm Kelly Martin. I'm a traditionally and independently published author of more than 30 books, and welcome to my channel. This is the second video in the How to Write Horror series. The first video is how to start your book. This video is on tenses and point of view. Now, I just want to state again that these are my opinions. Mine. It's the things that I've learned, that I like to do, that I like to read, basically that I like. I hope you learn something here and maybe think about things a way that you might not have thought about them before. But as I said in the last video, I'm no expert in writing horror. I know what I know. I know what I've learned. I'm still learning. I've written 14 horror paranormal ghost stories. So of course I feel like I'm still learning, but these are the things that I've learned that I want to share with you. Now, tense and point of view gets me giddy for some reason because I'm that nerdy writer. I love talking about tense. I love talking about point of view. This not be anything that you consider until you sit down to write your book and you're like, oh, well, how am I going to write this? What's the best way to get your reader involved, to get your jump scares in, to get the reader just so involved in your story that they keep flipping pages and don't want to sit down, that don't want to put your book down? And how do you keep the tension going? That can all be due to your tense too, and your point of view. And this is one thing that I think about. Did you know that your tense and your point of view can actually give spoilers for how your book ends? And I'll tell you about that right now. Okay, I want to start with present tense, which I know some people are like, present tense? No, I do not like books in present tense. I will never write a book in present tense. And I was that way for a long time. If I saw a book was in present tense, I was like, no, thank you. But now it's one of my favorite tenses to write in. And it's one of my favorite tenses to read in, especially in horror. In horror, or in any story, you have past tense and present tense. Of course, there's always future tense, but past and present is what we're talking about. Okay. The person telling the story is the narrator, right? It's basically somebody either telling you something that has happened, which is past tense, or telling you something that's happening right now, which is present tense. In my mind, a narrator who is telling you what's happened in past tense obviously lived through it. Or they couldn't be telling you, the reader, the story. So that means whatever horrible thing is happening to this person in past tense, they're going to get through it. And they're going to be fine because they lived, they made it through to tell you, the reader, their story. So that kind of gives an unintentional spoiler, especially in horror, when you want to raise the stakes and you don't want your reader to know if this person lives. In horror, you can kill off your main character. It happens. Or at the very least, you want to have that tension that the reader's not real sure if you would kill off your main character and keep them dead. Like, that's the thing. You want to give that little bit of doubt in your reader's mind that, hey, this author might just do something to this character. And in past tense, you really can't do that because your narrator is telling the reader what happened in the past. So they obviously made it through it. If you write in present tense, all that security is gone because the reader has no idea if the narrator is going to make it all the way to the end. If it's in especially if it's in alternating points of view, sometimes authors will have like different, let's say, girl, boy, girl, boy, girl, boy point of view. And then if you do it in present tense, you can kill off the boy or the girl. and then the other character can continue the story. It gives you a way that you're not secure. The reader is always on their toes. They're not 100%. I know when I read books sometimes and it's in past tense and like this big climax happens and you're like, well, you're going to live, because obviously you're going to live because you're telling me the story. But in present tense, you don't know that. It's an unconscious or subconscious, not unconscious. It's a subconscious thing that you honestly don't know if the character is going to make it through. And if you're an author who has used this method before, and your readers know that you have no qualms of killing off a character, then that raises the stakes even more for me. Okay, it adds a level of tension to the story, and that's what makes jump scares so much more powerful. It's what makes the scary elements that much more powerful. It's what makes the story so much more powerful, because we know that even in horror, of course you're going to have jump scares, you're going to have scary moments, but at the core of it, just like every other book, it's the story. And in the story, you don't know what's going to happen. Your reader is going to feel uneasy in a good way. And their sense of security of that main character is not going to matter. Let's take Supernatural. Spoilers if you've never seen Supernatural, okay? Spoilers. I guess I should put like a spoilers. And then when I take spoilers down, you can come back to the video, okay? Okay. Spoilers for the TV show Supernatural. In season 2, when Sam died, we were all heartbroken. We were like, this TV series has killed this main character. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. And it was like the rug got pulled out from under you. And then he come back and we're like, oh good, he's back. The more times Sam has died, like I think he died a lot. But I think it's in season 13. And he died in the cave, the vampire cave. I didn't care. Like, I'm like, he's going to come back, so it's not even going to matter. That takes away that gives you security. We are all secure in the fact that Sam Winchester's not going to die. Now, maybe he will in this last season. I don't know. But, up until now, we know Sam's not going to die. Dean's not going to die. Cass isn't going to die. They're not going to stay dead. They may die, but they're not going to stay dead. We've learned it. We are secure in that fact. When you write a book and you don't want your readers to be secure in that fact, it gives the reader a sense of not feeling secure and being more invested in the characters and in the story. I could have cared less that Sam died in season 13 in that cave. I didn't care because I knew he was going to come back. But if I had not known he was going to come back, if I wasn't trained to know that, I would have been pretty upset, and it would have made the story more impactful. So, what I'm saying is, in present tense, I kind of went off on a tangent. Okay, Supernatural spoilers gone. No more Supernatural spoilers. In present tense, it gives your readers a way to not have the security blanket under them. Past tense, you know they're more than like 99%, they're going to be alive at the end. It's just going to happen. But in present tense, you have no idea. None. Because the narrator is telling you the story as it's happening. That is my take on the good parts of writing a story in present tense. Now, my middle grade book, I did write in past tense because I know most middle grade books are in past tense. There's some in future tense. There's some in present tense. But for that story, I did write it in past tense. But mainly because But generally, I love first person present tense for my ghost stories because it puts the reader more involved and it gives them that they're not secure. They have no idea who's going to die, and it can be your main characters. And if something bad happens and they fall in a well, by golly, they may not get out of that well. And you have to read very carefully, and you have to be very invested in that story to find out if they got out of that well. I think first person, just as a general blanket statement, is sometimes easier to connect with the character because I did this, I did that. It's kind of like you're putting yourself into that character. Sometimes I think first person is easier to do that. Some people think third person is easier to do that. That's entirely up to you. I think the tense is more important than the point of view when it comes to horror. Now, of course, there's second person point of view, and I've actually written a series in second person point of view. It's called the Hindsight series. It's not up anymore. I love the books. I need to put them up again. They're really good. They're really good. Look at me tooting my own horn. They're not paranormal. They're kind of like they're mysteries, and it's told in second person. And basically, it's the main character, Walker, and he's talking to the reader. Like, he knows you, and he's talking to you. He knows he's telling his story to you. And those books were about 20,000 words a piece because it kind of gets hard to keep writing in second person. It was fun. I loved it. And I think the twist in the story, it needed to be told in second person. The twist in the story is something I've never seen before, and I actually need to put them up and then again, and then maybe try to figure out how to put that twist in another book because I love that twist. It's one of my favorite twists in the whole entire world. Anyway, you can do it in second person. It's if you are awesome and you can do an entire horror novel in second person, my hat's off to you. So that is my take on tense and point of view. Basically, first or second point of view, probably gonna go either way. It depends on which one you're more comfortable with. Remember, in my mind, and I could be the only one that thinks this, if I am and you think I'm just making it all up and thinking too much into it, leave a comment. Say, lady, no. Say, no, honey, no. To me, past tense means that you already know that the character is going to make it to the end. Present tense, you have no idea. You don't have that security. And when you're writing horror, that's a good thing. In the next video, we're going to talk about how to keep readers going through the slow parts in your book, and that was actually suggested by Priscilla, and I'm getting to it, Priscilla, and I'm so excited to make a video over it. Okay, that's it. Tell me what you think in the comments. We'll have some wonderful discussions, and I will see you in the next video. Bye. I think it would be even more, my hat's off to you. Next week we're talking about